Hey guys, today we'll be taking a look at the Battleground States electoral map based solely on the latest poll out of every single state. So I've already filled in the solid and likely states for both Joe Biden and President Trump, and today we'll continue to fill in the Battleground States, taking a look at the latest poll out of every single state. Now before we get into that, make sure to join my Discord server if you have not. The link is at the very top of the description below. We're doing many events, giveaways, and contests there before the election, so make sure you join to not miss out on that. In addition to that, make sure you join my YouTube channel if you're interested in becoming a member and getting access to some pretty nice perks. They're just 99 cents per month, so make sure you click on that blue join button if you are interested. It's located right next to the subscribe button. So moving on to the video, basically Joe Biden right now is not doing as well as he was in many states. However, he is still consistently leading in all the states that he needs to lead in. So first, taking a look at the state of Nevada, where right now Joe Biden is up 6.3% on average. The latest poll, I'm going to ignore all these SurveyMonkey polls just because these polls are so inaccurate and the sample sizes are just, it's an online poll, so which is why the sample size is so large. But D- rated, don't take a look at any of these polls. But taking a look at the latest poll out of WPA Intelligence, Biden plus 2%, YouGov puts Biden up 6, Santa College and New York Times also puts Biden up 6. Of the latest poll, Biden plus 2, so we're going to have to use that. So the state of Nevada is going to be a tilt state for President Trump, or not President Trump, for Joe Biden. And then the state of Arizona, 11 electoral votes, a state that Trump won by 3.6% 4 years ago. Right now, the state of Arizona plus 3.8 on average for Joe Biden. The latest poll out of RMG Research only puts Biden up 1%, and then Data Orbital puts Biden up 5%. It's an AB rated pollster, so I'm going to have to go with this latest poll. That's going to give Biden a just 1% lead here in the state of Arizona, so that's going to be 2 tilt states for Joe Biden. Nevada, I'm actually going to put in lean is 2%, so I'm actually going to put that into the lean Biden column, not the tilt column. And then the state of Texas is next. Surprisingly, Joe Biden leads in the latest poll. This is definitely a great sign for Joe Biden. I don't think he's going to win this state, but I think that if Joe Biden is doing well in Texas, there's no way he's going to lose this election. So Biden plus 1% right now from Data for Progress, so that's going to give a huge chunk of electoral votes for Joe Biden, 38 electoral votes for the former vice president. And look at that, Joe Biden is already at 272 electoral votes. And then the next state is the state of Minnesota. That's 10 electoral votes. Taking a look at this state right here, Joe Biden plus 7.5%. Joe Biden has actually dipped down from 50%. And as of right now, the latest Change Research poll puts Biden up 5%, which is definitely a decrease from the margins that he was seeing just a few days ago. So what this all shows is that Joe Biden, he is not doing as well as he was, and that was kind of expected. Joe Biden really did peak quite a bit last week, and if he was to peak again, I think he would definitely win this election because it does take a while for his numbers to come down. However, his numbers have come down to where they were just a little bit before the debate, a little bit higher than that, I would say. So still, Joe Biden has increased his support in terms of before to after the debate as of right now. So I think that Joe Biden is still on track to victory. However, I think his victory may not be as strong as we thought just 1 week ago. The state of Iowa, 6 electoral votes, as you can see right here. Joe Biden actually is still leading in Iowa. Trump has not been able to take back the lead since basically the 6th of October. Joe Biden doing very well in a state that Trump won by nearly 10% in 2016. And then the latest poll from Insider Advantage, B- rated, shows Biden plus 1%. So the state of Iowa, this is going to be another tilt state for the former vice president. It's going to be 6 electoral votes for Joe Biden. The state of Wisconsin, 10 electoral votes, a very important state for Joe Biden, plus 7.2. He is still at 50%, maintaining his lead here in Wisconsin. The latest Ipsos polls puts Biden up 6 and 8, so I'm going to average these out to give Biden a 7% lead in the state of Wisconsin. So Wisconsin is actually doing pretty well for Joe Biden. This state, I definitely thought was going to be a little bit closer, but it is right now still in the likely column for Joe Biden, according to the latest polls. The state of Michigan, 16 electoral votes say that Trump also won in 2016, and I say that is very, very important to a Joe Biden victory. Michigan is polling the best out of all of these battleground states right now for the former vice president, plus 7.9%. He is again at 50% once again. And then the latest Ipsos poll puts Biden up 7% here in the state of Michigan. So that is going to be another likely state for the former vice president. But in the state of Pennsylvania, things are not looking as good for Joe Biden as these other two states. The state of Pennsylvania, Joe Biden plus 6.4% here. He's at 50.6%, Trump at 44.2%. So he is still at 50%, which still does make me confident that I do think that he will still carry the state at the end of the day. 50%, I don't think he's going to underperform that too much. He does not need a majority. He just needs a plurality. And I think that if he gets around 49% of the vote, he will end up winning the state of Pennsylvania. The latest Rasmussen Reports poll puts Biden up 3%. Now, this is actually very good for Joe Biden. Rasmussen Reports is one of President Trump's favorite pollsters. It is biased towards the right. It does tend to lean more towards the right. That's why it is only C plus rated. So this is actually a very good sign for Joe Biden, plus 3% from Rasmussen Reports. So that is going to be a lean state for Joe Biden. So 20 electoral votes puts Biden at 334 electoral votes. The state of Ohio, 18 electoral votes. This state is polling in favor of President Trump by just 0.1%. I believe that 538 has actually put the state of Ohio back into the Biden column due to him leading in the latest Rasmussen Reports poll again. This is big. Rasmussen Reports was the only pollster that actually polled Trump in favor of winning the Rust Belt at the very end of the 2016 election, and that's just mainly because they were the only pollster that came out with the poll very, very late, in addition to the fact that they do lean towards the right. So Biden +1 in a right-leaning poll, I think that's very good. And I say that Donald Trump won by over 8% in 2016. Joe Biden now leads in a right-leaning Trump-biased poll. So that's 1% for Joe Biden. So this state is going to go to Joe Biden as well. So right now, Joe Biden has won every single battleground state on this electoral map. The state of North Carolina right now, Joe Biden plus 3.2% on average. He's at 49.3% to President Trump at 46.1%. The latest Ipsos poll, I believe that is the latest poll. Yep, that is the latest poll. We also had a few ABC News and Washington Post polls that I think are also pretty important to take a look at. Joe Biden leading in every single one of them, A+ rated pollsters, and Joe Biden plus 3% according to the latest Ipsos poll in North Carolina. I see that Trump carried by a very similar margin in 2016, a state that has not voted for the Democratic Party in over a decade on the presidential level. Cal Cunningham, despite that scandal that he had, I think is still going to defeat Tom Tillis. Tom Tillis is not approved of. He is not popular. He did catch COVID-19, and that didn't help him at all. So I don't think Tom Tillis is going to win his re-election. I think that Cal Cunningham is going to drive up turnout for Joe Biden in the state of North Carolina. So 3.2% for Joe Biden on average, and the latest poll puts Biden up 3. That's going to be a lean state for the former vice president. The state of Georgia, 16 electoral votes. This is a pretty important state. Taking a look at the polls in Georgia, Biden actually leads by 0.9%, and the latest poll shows that there's an even race in the state of Georgia. This is an A+ rated Siena College and the New York Times Upshot poll with a sample size of 759. Says that the race here is a tie, 45 for Biden, 45 for Trump, so that is an even race right there. So I'm going to put the state of Georgia into just the toss-up column, so at 16 electoral votes or no candidate is leading in, but as of right now, Joe Biden is still not behind in any state. The state of Florida, 29 electoral votes, as you can see, 3.5% on average for Biden. The latest poll out of the University of North Florida as an AB rated pollster, Biden plus 1%, and so this poll right here, that is going to be a tilt state for the former vice president. So this is our electoral map based solely on the latest poll out of each state. As you can see, Donald Trump does not lead in any single battleground state. Joe Biden leads by tilt margins in Arizona, Texas, Iowa, Ohio, and Florida. There's a tie in Georgia, lead margins in Nevada, Minnesota, Pennsylvania, and North Carolina, as well as likely margins in both Wisconsin and the state of Michigan. Now, taking a look at these numbers, this is not too surprising. We did expect some states to get a little bit closer, especially states like Wisconsin. I think that it being a little bit closer isn't too surprising. These numbers are actually closer than what they were just a while ago. The state of Iowa has been improving for Joe Biden, actually. Joe Biden doing very well in the state of Iowa. I will give him that. Minnesota is also getting closer. Trump is only down 7.5% from just 9% yesterday, all the way down to 7.5%. the state of Minnesota. This is according to a new Change Research poll, which shows Biden up just 5%. So the numbers here in Minnesota, I think Joe Biden's going to win this state nonetheless. I think that it might be a lean margin at this point, but I'm still betting on it being a likely margin. So Minnesota is really not in danger for Joe Biden. Texas, however, I think that we're going to have to take a look at the numbers out of this state in the next couple of days, because the latest data for Progress poll, B minus 933 sample size, shows Biden up 1% over President Trump in the state of Texas. Now, this is big. Data for Progress does tend to bias a little bit towards the Republican Party, but it's an all-right pollster. Biden plus 1% in Texas. He's led here, I think, just one time actually in the month of July and August, as well as 1 point in July as well, I believe. So he is doing pretty well here in Texas. This is to say that President Trump should 100% win, a state that no Republican has lost in 4 decades, and this is also a state that voted for the president by 8% in 2016, and now he's barely able to keep a lead over Joe Biden. And there's no state where Donald Trump's at 50%. As long as Joe Biden overperforms his polling numbers, he can win any of these battleground states. But if you take a look at the states that Biden leads in, he's at 49.5% in Nevada, that's very strong. In Arizona, he's at 48.9%. In Texas, 47%. Minnesota, he's at 49.6%, so that's very close to 50%. So he doesn't need to be at 50%, just very, very close to it, because the undecided voters are probably going to swing towards Biden and Trump, obviously. And I do expect that Biden will win more of the undecided voters at the very end than President Trump. The state of Iowa, taking a look at this, Biden at 47%, Wisconsin, Biden at 51%, Michigan, Biden also at 51%, the state of Ohio, Biden at 47%, Trump at 47.0%, Biden at 46.9%. So the numbers here are looking a little bit better for President Trump in Ohio. However, the latest C-plus rated pollster or poll from Rasmussen reports that show Biden up 1, which could be a little bit worrisome for the GOP. The state of Pennsylvania, Joe Biden up at 50.6%. Yet again, another very strong margin for the former vice president. The state of North Carolina, Biden up 3.2. He's at 49.3%, which I think that at this point in time, that's why I put the state of North Carolina into the Biden column. There are around, I believe, 5% of voters who are still undecided here or are voting for a third party. I do think that enough of them will swing Joe Biden for him to keep his lead in the state of North Carolina, even on election night. The state of Georgia, Biden plus 0.9%, Biden up at 47.6%. His lead has dipped down a little bit. However, Georgia is surprisingly close, a state that no Democrat has won since 1992, and a state that voted for President Trump by over 6% in 2016 is right now polling very well for Joe Biden. An A-plus rated pollster shows that there's a tie. This is a state that Biden does not need to concentrate in, does not need to put any time or money into, but he is still, nonetheless still doing very well. Stacey Abrams, I think, from Georgia, I'm glad that Joe Biden did not choose her to be VP. She probably would have actually helped Joe Biden in Georgia, but personally, I don't think she would have been a good choice nationwide. But the state of Georgia, Siena College, New York Times, again, A-plus rated, shows a even tie in this state. Emerson does put Biden up 1. However, surprisingly, these two SurveyMonkey polls put Joe Biden up 2, and then plus 6%. Survey USA and Quinnipiac still put Biden up. Biden plus 7 in Quinnipiac. So the state of Georgia is definitely improving for the former vice president. And then finally, the state of Florida, state where Joe Biden is at 48.8%. This is an okay margin. I think he's doing very okay in this state. Definitely not great, but I don't think it's that horrible for Joe Biden. I think that he definitely does need to spend a little bit more time there and just increase his voter turnout in Florida, because he is winning among seniors as of right now, flipping that from 2016. He is also doing better among women, especially suburban women, where President Trump went out and pleaded for suburban women to like him, and it's not going to help him, but that just shows that even President Trump knows that he is in trouble with suburban women. But Joe Biden does have a problem with Latino and Hispanic voters, choosing Kamala Harris and not a Hispanic or Latino to be his running mate. I think definitely was a good choice overall, because I do think that it would help Joe Biden better if he chose Kamala Harris. But in a state like Florida, where there's a huge Cuban population, that definitely was not helpful for Joe Biden if he wants to win Florida. However, definitely this is not a state that he needs, but Florida nonetheless is a tilt state for the former vice president. So this puts Joe Biden up at 396 electoral votes. If he wins Georgia, he is at 412. but I'm gonna give it to I'm gonna give it as a toss-up state for right now. President Trump 126, Joe Biden 396, and there's currently a tie in the state of Georgia. And so this is the 2020 electoral map based on the latest poll out of each state. Make sure you join my Discord server if you have not. The link's at the very top of the description below. Subscribe to my channel if you have not. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Join my channel if you are interested in that. Just 99 cents per month. And make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Comment down below suggestions for videos you'd like to see from me in the future, as well as your thoughts on this one. And I will see all of you guys in the next video.